Hey everybody, this is Demari and welcome to my YouTube channel. Today I'm doing the September 2019 read for the sign of Pisces. So just to let you know, I'll be using a Celtic cross style layout using the Wild Unknown Tarot, clarifying with the Intuitive Tarot if needed. Okay, so let's get stuck in. So what's happening with you currently then, Pisces? Where are you at in life now that we're in the glorious month of September? Okay, so you got the Tower card. So I feel like the work that you've been doing, or the kind of realizations that you had recently, particularly where the shadow work's concerned. If you haven't seen that video, please do check it out because it may be relevant to you. I feel like there's still some work that needs to be done here, and you're seeing that. It may be that you thought that you'd laid certain aspects of this issue to rest, but that hasn't happened as of yet. And something else occurred that made you realize that there's still a way to go. There's still certain things that you need to address. If you have an addictive personality or an addiction, it may be that you relapsed in this time. And that's what kind of brought the Tower down on you, like all the work's been undone. Or it could be just simply that a whole nother set of circumstances were brought about, and that pretty much made you have to do a hard reset, yeah? So now you're just like, well, where do I go from here? Because, you know, I was taking steps, I was trying to change my life, whatever, in regards to whatever aspect, because this will be very different from different people, but you were trying to work on something, and then this Tower moment happened and you feel like everything's been undone. You got the Strength in reverse, so I feel like that's really taken you aback, because for a time you were feeling like you were making progress, but now it feels like you've taken several steps back because of this event that took place, and that's really taken the wind out of your sails. That's made you feel very weak. Sorry, the cards are just flying out everywhere. You got the Eight of Wands in reverse. So yeah, I feel like you feel like circumstances are out of your control, right? That you just the unluckiest person in the world, that you have no ability to change or affect these things that keep happening to you with these Seven of Pentacles in reverse. But it's important to know that that's not the case. Obviously, there's certain things that come up that are outside of your control, but there are still certain aspects that you can control, right? Particularly how you react to them and what you do after an event takes place, okay? So it's really important to know that you're not totally powerless within a circumstance, even though it may make you feel that way. So what's in the place of the challenge? What's crossing you in this time in regards to this Tower energy? Okay, so you've got the Seven of Swords. So yeah, I feel like you were really trying to move away from this thing, okay, whatever it is. You were trying to make progress, but I feel like for some of you there was a relapse. I feel like for some others, something came up that made you feel like you couldn't move forward anymore. And there was a change in circumstance that just made you feel like everything just came crashing down shortly after. That's where I feel like you're sitting at the moment, Pisces. Again, this is a general read. Take it if it resonates. If it doesn't, that's fine. This particular one is not for yourself. So, I mean, what happened recently then? Because like I said, there was some event, okay? Something took place that changed the course of things, right? So I want to know what that was for you, Pisces. Get a bit of clarity on that for you. Ten of Swords in reverse. Oh no, sorry, it's in the upright. I don't know what I'm talking about, obviously. Ten of Swords in the upright. So yeah. I think you've been in this circumstance for a very long time. I think you've been facing the same challenges over and over. And because you're in this perpetual loop, you just feel ever so stuck. That's the main feeling here. You feel like there is no way out, but I feel like even though it seems like in your mind right now there's no way out, there is. It's not going to continue. There is some aspect of it that's coming to an end. And while certain things have been playing out in terms of the circumstances, that is drawing to a close. It's just your perception needs to catch up to that awareness, yeah, that circumstance is coming to an end. It's just that you've been here before and you felt like you've repeated this cycle so many times that when there's any glimpse that this might be it, you find it very hard to believe, right? And that's why I feel like maybe part of it is your own doing. There might be a little bit self-sabotage there with some of you, if you're being totally honest, because you're afraid of the change. That was very prominent in your shadow work reading, that you're afraid of what will happen if you really try, to break out of this toxic cycle. And for some others of you, it's just a case of that you need to see it to believe it, right? But it is coming to an end. You're not going to keep repeating the cycle, but there has been a circumstance that's made you feel like all your progress has been undone, but that's not the case. And you have the 9 of Wands here, you see, so you have to overcome certain hurdles. And I feel like this was one of the last major ones to help you see the reality of the situation. See that moon at the top there, at the top of the stairs made of wands, yeah? And I feel like to get to that place of knowing and to see things clearly and for the veil to be lifted and all to be in awareness, right, in your awareness, you had to overcome these final hurdles, yeah, these final challenges. And that's what you're going through right now, okay? So what about your near future then, Pisces? So you've got the King of Swords, right? The Father of Swords. So yeah, I feel like you are going to embody this energy, okay? I feel like you're going to realize once you see that certain aspects of this circumstance has come to a close, that it's not going to repeat, you'll simply start to step into your power again. You'll start to see things more clearly again. And you'll think, okay, well this time I'm going to change it for good. Like I can see that this isn't going to happen anymore, so I'm going to make sure that this aspect doesn't happen either. So I feel like you're going to be very assertive in this time. You're going to take action. You're not going to wait to see what happens this time, okay? You're not going to leave it to chance. You're going to take swift action, no-nonsense approach to this circumstance, because that's why I feel like you've had enough of the nonsense, right? So yeah, you're really stepping into that strong, dominant energy of wanting to take control of your life again, essentially. Which I think you kind of need that right now, Pisces. I feel like, you've been feeling far too meek for too long. It's made you feel powerless, so you need to step in. You need to step up and step into that role a little bit right now. Okay? So again, just take it if it resonates. So what about in terms of your feelings then? Because it's clear that, that you've been feeling somewhat powerless, and it's really kind of knocked your self-worth as of late. But what else is lurking beneath the surface there? Okay, you've got the Father of Wands though in the upright, so that's the King of Wands. So I think you're coming to the realization that you're manifesting this reality on some level, yeah? By allowing certain things to just happen to you, and by maybe, like I said, relapsing into old habits and behaviors that are keeping you trapped in this reality. And I think you're just kind of taking ownership of that so that you can manifest a new reality. So that's good. I think, taking responsibility is really important. Like, that's the first stage of acceptance, right? And then from there you can start to actually address whatever issues you have going on a serious level and begin to take steps forward, right? So that you don't find yourself locked into these old patterns of behaviour. So that's good. Okay then, so what about in terms of the advice. What's in the position of the advice for you to help you get back on track? You've got the Nine of Swords in reverse. So let go of your anxieties, let go of your fears, all the concerns that you have surrounding this circumstance. That's what's kind of also locking you into this reality, is your fear, right? That's keeping you very much trapped within the base level, okay? And that's not what you want. You don't want to be operating just purely from the reptilian brain, okay? You want to be tapping into your higher self. So it's important that you don't buy into your fears and your irrational thoughts because you're scared of failing again, okay? People fail, everyone fails, right? But the important thing is not how many times you failed, it's how many times you're capable of bringing yourself back up, you know, from the brink of despair, okay? That says a lot about your strength. So it's important that you know that, okay? And that just because, okay, you might have had a blip or something happened that threw your center, you can get back there and you can go further, okay? So don't give up on yourself. That's what you need to remember. If you give up, you're giving up on yourself. So that cannot be an option for you, okay? Okay, so what about in terms of any external influences that may be at play here in regards to this circumstance? Because there usually is, right? There's usually something else at work here. So let's just see what's been happening for you, Pisces. Okay, you've got the Star. So I feel like this is very much all to do with manifestation, right? I feel like you are manifesting this situation, right? So I think you may have been tapping into the wrong energies. I don't think you realize, but by being so locked into that fear and thinking about all the things that can go wrong, you've been manifesting that into your life. And that could be how this circumstance even came about, the Three of Center. It could be that you connected with someone who is able to see your vulnerabilities and brings out the worst in you. So rather than helping you in this circumstance, they're actually a very bad influence. So you need to be careful. If you have anyone like that in your life, you'll probably know who they are. If you do have someone like that, you will need to seriously address that and either cut them out completely or have words with them and make it clear that they are not a good influence for you and you need your space in this time to do the work, okay? That you can't be having any negative influences in your life at present. But I feel like even if a person who embodies that energy has come into contact with you, I feel like you've manifested that through your thoughts, feelings, behaviors, okay? So you need to be really mindful of all of that and your energy right now, because otherwise you're going to be trapped in this cycle, and that's not what you want. Because even though there's some aspects of it coming to an end so that you can move forward, if you don't change how you're viewing it, right, your perception and the energy you're giving out, then you're just going to draw more influences like that into your life that'll make it harder for you to break out of it, okay? So it's really important that you're aware of what you're putting out there, okay? So what about then in regards to your hopes and fears? So, switched around this time. So this is your hopes and this is your fears, okay? Usually it's the other way around, but I feel like this is how it is for you. So, I think your hopes is that you won't have to face the same lessons over and over, that you'll get past this, that you'll understand what it needs to be done, what needs to happen in order for you to get past these lessons, these life lessons that have been given to you over and over, that you'll pass them with flying colours and that you can put an end to this situation, that you can draw it to some kind of close, okay? Because I feel like you're just done with it, you don't want this anymore. But I think you know on some level that there's certain things you need to do in order to do that, right? So I feel like you're prepared to do that on this occasion, as long as you know that it's actually going to end, it's not going to continue in this cycle. So your fears is that, I feel like with this Eight of Cups in reverse, I think your fears is that like the universe is just conspiring against you to keep you trapped in this fear state and, you know, like this personal hell that you've been experiencing. I think that's what you feel like there's some kind of outside force that's working against you. And I don't think that's the case, actually. I think that's just how you feel in this circumstance, and I think that a lot of this is down to how you're perceiving things and some of the things that you experienced in life. So it may be that other people played a role, circumstances played a role, you played a role, but I don't think it's the universe conspiring against you. I think it's actually wanting you to get past this. It's just that, you know, you need to address certain things in order for that to happen. You can't get past it if you don't learn the lessons, right? So it's really important that you take the advice on board and you make some significant changes. I've got a bunch of things coming up for you. Son of Pentacles in reverse, Three of Swords in reverse, Five of Cups in the upright, Five of Swords. Yeah, so you just, yeah. You're just not feeling very good right now, are you, Pisces? That's the truth of the matter. You're just feeling totally at your wits' end, lost, and just done with the whole situation. You just can't believe how many times you've been around this loop. But it's illusionary, right? That the world is against you, that the universe is conspiring against you, that you're in this hell and there's no way out, okay? That's the illusion. I don't like saying the word human-made, like, or man-made or whatever, because there's more to it than that, of course. But at the same time, there are elements of this situation that is human-made, right? That is man-made, because you didn't make necessarily the right choices, right? And that's what led you to this circumstance. So you do have to accept a certain level of responsibility for this so that you can move forward, so that you don't repeat these cycles, because this feeling of being trapped is an illusion, right? That you hold the keys to your own freedom. That's what you need to see. Okay then, so what about in regards to the outcome? What's the overall outcome for this month for you then, Pisces? Because we need to see some movement, right? Okay, and you've got the Wheel of Fortune in reverse. So the ball's in your court, my friend. That's what's basically being communicated here. Like, it all depends on what you do at this stage, because as I said, there are certain aspects of this situation that's coming to a close, that's not going to be repeated. There is a chance for a fresh beginning coming up, but it's going to take work and discipline on your side, okay? You have to choose that. You have to choose yourself in this circumstance, and not whatever it is that's, you know, keeping you locked into this fear mentality that's draining you of your energy and making you miserable. Whatever it is, whether it's an addiction or whether it's an individual or a circumstance, you have to address it. So the choice is yours. That's what's being communicated here. And the outcome is all dependent on what you choose. Okay? So I just want to pull a clarification in regards to this star, because I am curious about this external influence. Yeah. I feel like it's someone that is manipulating the situation with this Five of Swords in reverse. I think someone is kind of coming in and playing mind games a little bit. Five of Wands in reverse and Ten of Wands. So, yeah, but they're not going to be in your life for very long. Whoever it is, I think you're going to show them the door because you realize what they're doing. Okay. Yeah, I don't think they're going to stay in your life for very long. I think you see what it is that they're trying to achieve, and you're just saying, no, that doesn't serve me or my purpose, so bye. It doesn't serve the energy I'm stepping into, so you're going to feel like you're not going to allow that to continue being a factor in your life. yeah, because you know what you want to manifest, you know what it is that you need to draw into your life. Okay, it's Seven of Pentacles here. You know there's been some trickery on their part, so you're not having it anymore. And then what about this Wheel of Fortune? Just wanted to quickly clarify that. Okay, so you do have an opportunity for a fresh start. Page of Wands here. It's up to you whether or not you turn your life around, but the ball is in your court, as I said. Because there are certain things about this that's coming to an end, so it's just up to you whether or not you have the discipline and the desire to change it. That's all it comes down to, Pisces, okay? So I hope that was useful for you. Do let me know your thoughts in the comments. If you like this read, do give it a thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed, do that already. If you haven't subscribed already, please do that. That's what I mean. Sorry, I'm not feeling very well today. And yeah, if you have any questions in regards to this read or would like a personal read, you're more than welcome to send me an email or contact me via my Facebook page, which is linked on my YouTube channel. So thank you so much for watching this read, and I wish you all the best with this situation.